But let's go through the pools. And Connacht are in Pool 1. And they're getting things underway on Friday. So what about that? Connacht versus Bordeaux.
That's a hard game. Bordeaux first up. I mean, Bordeaux have a backline at the moment. Damien Penaud has just joined them, scored 4 tries in his debut. You have Luca and Jackman, the French halfbacks. Berry also played for France in the World Cup. Huge excitement there. But
so despite what we said, it is a big one, a big opening one for Connacht for sure, like at home.
Absolutely, yeah, it is. And obviously, look, Saracens in that pool as well. But Saracens have to go away. They're playing the Bulls in Loftus-Versfeld.
That's a tricky one, yeah.
Very tricky. And you see, for the English teams, at least our sides, we're used to going to South Africa now. It's a totally different dimension for the, like, for example, I think La Rochelle in round 2 have to go to Cape Town to play the Stormers.
Which is uncharted territory again, isn't
it? Totally. So
there's
I suppose, look, there is an element for some people, should South African teams be in a European competition.
Well, they're in the Eurovision too, aren't they? Like, you know, are they not? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter.
It's a long time since I watched the Eurovision.
It's like a franchise now, and I mean, it's like a South Africa, a Bulls Leinster final would be good in many ways, even though
it would, as long as it's not in Loftus-Versfeld.
Right, I'll go, no problem. Let's have a look at the pools. Let's go through them. Next one up, Pool 2. This is Ulster. So what you're making?
Yeah, I think this is a huge game for Ulster. Obviously, they got to bounce back from the defeat to Edinburgh. Bath, in fairness, are playing good rugby under Johan van Graan. They've recruited very well from the clubs who disappeared: Worcester, London Irish, and Wasps. And obviously, they're supposed to be in the market for RG Snyman. That's a tough game for Ulster, and if they can get a win there, they'll bounce back. But that group isn't simple either.
And then we're on to Munster.
Pool 3, as we said, Munster playing Bayonne first up next weekend. They don't play Glasgow now, for the obvious reason that they're in the URC. The tough one there, Exeter, not the team they were. Going away there, Munster have played there a few times in the last few seasons, as they have played Saints. The tough one, I think, from a Munster perspective, is going to Toulon. Toulon are going well in top 14 at the moment.
OK, so 2 home wins and maybe an away win definitely would get you through anyway. But let's have a look at this one, because, I mean, there's the history here growing annually. And as you made the point, losing to a team 4 times in a row is almost kind of an absolute transgression of your pride as a professional
I just think
rugby player.
it's going to be far from easy. La Rochelle would have massive belief they can hurt Leinster. They've beaten them at the tail end of the season the last 3 years. Now they're getting them early doors. Their early form in the top 14 was a little bit iffy, but they've recovered well. A big win against Perpignan at the weekend at home. And the French fans, the La Rochelle fans, will be foaming at the mouth at the prospect of getting Leinster. The last time they played in La Rochelle, it was during COVID. It was an empty stadium. If you remember, they all came beforehand to welcome the teams in, but they couldn't get in. And for some of them, they wouldn't have been able to travel to Marseille or to Viva last year. So they will be pushing that team on. And it's a phenomenal atmosphere. It's probably become the best atmosphere in club rugby in France. I mean, Clermont have lost a little bit of that home advantage, and I know La Rochelle lost a couple of weeks ago, but in general, it's an absolute fortress.
Yeah, but also it's the game for Leinster to kind of begin the recovery after those 2 seasons where the trophies were ripped from their grasp.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the one thing I think Leinster, you've no divine right. They've been talking, you heard Gary Ringrose there talking about the star.
Yeah.
Leinster have been chasing that 5th star for a long time now. 2 finals. I mean, everything last year seemed destined for them. They had home round of 16, quarter, semi-final, and it just didn't happen. So there's no guarantees, and that's what makes Europe great.
And Ninaber's first real impact, possibly.
Yeah, well, look, he couldn't. I'm quite sure he's been stood in La Rochelle for the last few weeks himself. I mean, the one thing came out, a lot of the Leinster players absolutely blown away by the detail that Ninaber had, not only within, but talking about Connacht, and he only arrived last Monday.
You could see some of the dressing room shots on Saturday night that there seemed to be a genuine chemistry between Ninaber and his new Leinster charges.